All right, let's see. Fantastic. So we are live. We are live. Hi, Angelina. Hi. So we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And let's see. All right, good. So I think we're all good now. Let's see what questions we can address for you guys today. And I'm ready. So we're going to talk about, I had an interesting consultation today. And guys, when you meet with the immigration lawyer, please do tell the truth and the whole truth to your immigration lawyer. Most of the time, what we see happen is people tell half truths or only portions of the truth. And it's very, very hard for the immigration attorney to give you proper advice if they don't know the entire story. So it's very hard. It's like you go to the doctor and the doctor is asking you, what did you eat last night? And you say, oh, I only had bread. Meanwhile, you had steak and you had veggies and you had all that. And the doctor can't treat you or can't do surgery on you because they don't know what you had, right? So just tell the lawyer everything and everything that's going on in your entire history, because we cannot properly diagnose your situation. We do not know what is going on in your entire immigration history. We do not know how to advise you. Seriously, yes, Mimi, exactly. We get selective answers, okay? So let me give you a couple of examples. Hopefully, some of you will appreciate the humor in some of these, okay? For example, a couple of years back, we had, and hopefully you guys will like this. Well, you type your questions in, and I'll address as many questions as I can today. So whatever questions you have, just put them in. But a couple of years ago, I had a consultation with a client, and as part of my information gathering is I need to ask a lot of history questions. I go over immigration history, family history. So how many family members you have, where do they live? So I go, have you ever been arrested? No. Have you ever been charged with a crime? No. Have you ever committed a crime for which you have not been arrested? No. And I go over all those things. Well, here is an interesting one. For example, we are in Fort Lauderdale, and there is a very large LGBT population where we are, and that's a large portion of my practice. So most people will say, have you ever committed a crime for which you have not been arrested? And most people will laugh that off and say no. And here is a very good example where people need to answer yes. For example, we had a client, he was from Pakistan, okay? And he's LGBTQ and he is in Florida. And in Florida, you're fine, you don't have an issue. And he has committed a crime for which he has not been arrested because in his country, just being gay is a crime. Okay. So, yes, he has committed a crime. No, he has not been arrested because he is in the United States, but he's subject to arrest if he does go back. So, that is one of those weird things for which you do need a lawyer to help you properly answer that question. Okay. Give you another one. For example, what kind of relatives do you have in the United States? Oh, I only have, just some immediate family. So what's your immediate family? Do you have parents in the United States? No. Do you have a spouse in the United States? No. Children? No. So what immediate family do you have in the United States? Oh, I have some primos, primas, cousins. That's not considered immediate family. Okay, so what do you have in the United States in terms of family members? Oh, just some cousins, maybe a couple of aunts and uncles. Well, that doesn't count. Okay, they are family preference. So for immigration purposes, that doesn't count. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you, no joke, this is exactly how it went in that conversation. I forgot to tell you, yeah, I do have a wife in Ghana. Um, Okay, yeah. So you are married here, you are getting married, you are marrying someone here, you want to get your papers through your spouse in the United States. You mean you got divorced in Ghana? And oh, no, 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 she's still my wife. Hold on a second. So let's get back to that for a second. Okay. So are you divorced from your spouse in Ghana? No. Um, did you marry legally this spouse in Ghana? Oh, yeah, she's my wife. We have 3 kids. Okay, well, you could have 3 children and not be married to the person. Oh, no, we have a legal marriage. Is it a legal marriage, tribal marriage? Because in Ghana, there are different laws, and they are both valid, by the way. In Ghana, you need to know the laws in that particular country. You need to know how it works. But that's an example. I didn't say Ghana. That's the example that I was coming up with, okay? That's the actual sample. I was talking about the specific consultation that I had with that particular individual. And it's just one example. I could come up with a million on this particular topic. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people think that the spouses that they have in other countries don't count. So I actually had to change my entire intake process and ask people, have you ever anywhere in the world been married to anyone of any gender at any given time in the past? Okay. So no, I cannot make this up. I am serious. This is the kind of questions that I have to ask. And then they are wondering why the questions on the immigration forms are so complicated because of this. All right. Or they are telling me, oh, yes, I only have 3 children. Okay. My wife also has 4. Okay. Well, they are also, for immigration purposes, they are also considered your children. Oh, no, no, no. But I don't want to list the older one because I don't want to talk. I don't talk to them. They don't talk to me. Are they your children? Yes. You have to list your children. You do not get to pick and choose which children you list on your application. Then I'd rather not file for naturalization. I had a client tell me that. I would rather not file for naturalization and not become a citizen that have that child's name associated with mine on my naturalization application. I can't even go and understand that or unpack that or go there and understand it. Anyway, so now that I gave you guys enough stories and entertainment, because it's not, I mean, this people are going through this in their lives and they sometimes think it's normal, and in their life, in their people block certain things, and sometimes, you know, we all have certain events that are hurtful to us, certain events that we block in our lives because they are hurtful. But listen, for immigration, you have to unblock it and you have to disclose it, because otherwise it's misrepresentation, could be considered fraud. We do not have a choice. We actually have to disclose. Okay. We do not get to pick and choose. So let's go over some of your questions. Let me go from the beginning, see what I can. Oh, yes, Minnie, selective answers. You believe it. So yeah, in his eyes is a no. Now that he sees the American way, yes. No, I will not talk about the Dignity Act. Let me tell you what I will not talk about the Dignity Act. I have seen so many suggestions about this immigration reform or that thing or this proposal or that proposal. Until I see it passed, it's just a proposal. Getting our hopes up serves nothing, serves nobody. I'm not going to talk about it. It's just a waste of energy. I see one every 2 months. Either one party or the other comes up with something. It's always just a political ploy. It's not worth it. My U visa file was submitted in May 2022. Also, my lawyer has submitted 765. So my question is, how long do I have to wait for the 765? So it really depends. You can go online and check your processing time based on your receipt number. You should have a receipt number for your 765, and you can actually see by category, okay? And it depends on where you live. The processing time for a work permit right now, it's about 9 months. 6 to 9 months, depends on where you are. If you apply for a refugee travel document, I-131, how long, I'm assuming, until you get the approval? It's about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. Should we put never lived together if I can't prove I lived at her house? It depends on the type of application you are filling out. Okay. I don't know the answer to that. Okay. I don't know how you say your name. I apologize if I butcher it. I don't mean to. Should we put never lived together? If you lay your head at night there, then you lived there. That is the government's definition of have you ever lived with your spouse? Whether you can prove or not, you still lived there. Okay? If you lived in a hotel, okay, if you pay by night, other than that is where you lay your head at night. Okay? So that's the government's definition of living together. So think about it hard. Sometimes you can prove of living with your spouse, not always with, especially if you don't have papers in the United States, you don't have a social security number. How are you going to prove that you lived there? Because most of the time you cannot be on utility bills. You cannot be on the lease. It depends on where she lives. So especially if it's her house, right? She owned the house before you guys were married. So it's very difficult. Okay. So if that is the case, there are other ways to prove that you live together. Okay. Let me give you a good one. Recently, USCIS has gone to people's homes and they didn't even knock on the door. This is what they did. They didn't knock on the door. They didn't go to ask the neighbors, which is what they used to do in the past to see if you live together, if it's a good faith marriage. They went to the door. They saw that there was a Ring camera and that they went back to the office and they issued a request for evidence asking for proof, and they asking for footage and for images from the Ring camera with timestamps showing who entered and who left that house with timestamps. That's how you prove you live together. Or that's how the government proves you didn't. Okay? And the government doesn't have to prove anything. You have to prove, the burden is on you to prove that you lived together. You can prove you live together not always with direct documents, lease and utility bills and mail coming there. It's not always that. Sometimes you can prove with affidavits and statements from other people who have seen you there, know you live there. Statements from the neighbors. Sometimes you can talk to the mailman. It really depends, okay? Sometimes you can, you had a cat or a dog together. You went to the veterinarian and your name is listed there. You can prove you lived there. There are ways, okay? Now, if you never lived there, don't say you lived there. If you can't prove you lived there, but you lived there, that's a totally different story. If I was an F1 overstay, can I re-enter with a tourist visa? Assuming your tourist visa is still valid and they have not revoked it, yes, you can. How long is the K1 visa taking right now? Oh boy, that is a big source of anguish right now for most people. So the K1 visa, right now, just the first petition, the I-129F, takes about 16 months. That's a year and 4 months. Once that one is approved, it goes to, it's about 2 to 3 months that it goes to the National Visa Center. When it's at the National Visa Center, normally it doesn't sit there more than a few weeks. It used to be. National Visa Center acts only as a clearinghouse, really as a scheduling center, where they are waiting for the consulate to send them the number of appointments that they can schedule for the next month. They schedule and they move on. That has not been the case lately because the consulates are very short-staffed. There is a huge backlog, so they sit at the National Visa Center for so long. So 16 months USCIS, 2 to 3 months to move the case. And after that, you're stuck there until the consulate says you can now schedule the interview. And it depends on the consulate. Some consulates, you could wait a year. And other consulates, it's less than a couple of weeks. How long is taken the 601A? Oh boy, 601A are about 4 years. Minimum 4 years right now. Some of them have been moving. Let me just check right now. Hold on. Let's see. Nothing has been moving lately. I saw a couple of them coming in, but it's not looking pretty. Oh, they say it's 22 months. It's not. Can I apply for my child at the same time as I am applying for mine? Assuming your child is under the age of 18, yes. And it depends under the category. It could be under the age of 21. My pleasure, Samir. Mimi, I like to ask a question, but I don't know what type of visa my cousin from Nicaragua wants me to help him with. So Mimi, the best thing to do is for your cousin from Nicaragua to schedule a consultation with an immigration attorney, okay? Talk to him exactly what he would like to do. Find out if he would like to come to the United States permanently or temporarily. Some people, you'd be surprised, they just want to come here to study. They want to come here to work for a short period of time, or they want to move here permanently, okay? And then you need to see, based on their education, experience, their age, are they married, single, what the story is, we need to look at their options. So find out first what their goals are, then look to see if you can indeed help them or not, okay? And then schedule a consultation. It doesn't have to be with me. We are in Fort Lauderdale, but we help immigrants everywhere make the United States their permanent home. We have clients in all 50 states and really all over the world. And it doesn't matter where you really are. So that's probably the best way to do it. And just so you guys know, I do charge for consultations. We do not give free consultations. This is my free consultation, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want more information, just put more information below and I'll try to address it while I'm here. Judith on YouTube is asking, how long will it take for an I-485 for an adult child already in the US on an F1 visa? Here is the thing. Is the adult child, Judith, a child of a US citizen, or is the child of a permanent resident? Because if it's a child of a US citizen and it's an adult, okay, there is no category. If it's an adult of a permanent resident, depends on the visa bulletin. And you might want to look at other options, okay? When does the F1 visa expire, okay? And you need to look at the preference category. Is it an immediate relative? And it's a child of a US citizen. How old is the child? Judy, please answer that. Let's see the visa bulletin now so we can answer Judy. Hopefully she'll respond. I see she's still available. So let's see while the visa bulletin comes up. Okay, so we have, okay, unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens, okay? Unmarried, there you go, unmarried sons and daughters of US citizen. They are processing right now applications filed in January 2015. So we are looking minimum 8 years plus consider about 2 years of processing. So we are looking at about 10 years. During this time, if the person is in the United States, they cannot at any given time fall out of status, okay? So Judy, if the person is here as a student, if they're on here on F1 and they are 41, you might want to see what they are studying. You might want to see if there is an employer who can petition for them. You might want to look at other options. Otherwise, we are looking at them being 51, 52, 53 before they are getting their green card, okay? And if they do get married, then their priority goes to 2009. So we are looking at seriously much longer time. All right, Judy, hopefully that helps. If you want to evaluate more of your options, my pleasure. If you want to evaluate your options, give us a call and have the child give us a call, and let's see what other options are available for them. Sometimes there are some, sometimes there aren't, okay? Let's see. Wayne wants to know, how do I deport my illegal cousin? He keeps stealing my stuff. Here is the thing, Wayne. Unfortunately, you personally cannot deport anyone. Only the government can do that. You cannot initiate a deportation proceeding. Only the federal government can do that. All right. Let's see. Oh, I missed a bunch of questions. Let's get back to that, okay? Shall we? All right. All right. Can I apply for my child? I already answered that. How about if you married a long time ago, around 26 years? How about it, Sylvia? What's the question there? Yvonne, you have shared bank accounts. Great. Use those. You probably have other documentation as well, okay? You need to think a little outside the box to prove you lived together, okay? Can a flight attendant job offer speed up a travel permit? I already got my work permit. Here is the problem with the flight attendant job offer. Is it going to be domestic routes or is it going to be international routes? Because if you have international routes, you might not be able to take the job, okay? Yeah, no, a flight attendant job offer, here's the problem. You do not want to get the travel permit and use that for work purposes, okay? The travel permit, when you have an adjustment of status pending, is intended for brief and casual visits abroad, not for work purposes, okay? You want to stick with domestic travel, at least until you get your green card. What if your green card gets denied while you're outside the United States? You do not want to risk that. If my F1, my CVIS was terminated, I overstayed outside the US. I'm outside the US right now. Can I reapply with tourist visa? You can reapply. Whether that's going to be approved, it's another question. So we just saw the latest statistics on the denial of student visas. And here is what we saw. 60% of student visa applicants in Latin America are getting denied, 30% in Asia, and 50% in Africa. So the odds are what they are, okay? Stephen, I need a work permit. In order for you to get a work permit, you need to have another application pending. You can't apply directly for a work permit unless you have an employer who's sponsoring you. Callie, my I-130 is pending 3 years. My asylum admin closed. Good for you. I have an I-94. What can I do? My wife is a U.S. citizen. Call an immigration lawyer. This is a complicated matter. This is not something you have to do on your own, and you should not do on your own, okay? When you have something that was at any given point in the past in immigration court, do not do it on your own. Hire an immigration lawyer. Will the EB3 visa bulletin become current in the new fiscal year? Oh, I wish I would have a crystal ball and tell you. We do not know. We hope so, but I do not know. Do you check direct messages? I do. Not all the time, but I do. I do respond to most of them too. I-730 family petition for Afghan people. I-730, it's following after asylum. So what's the question? They marked me as a US citizen when I purchased a house by mistake. Will this affect me with AOS? Yes, it will. Absolutely. And that's a false claim to citizenship that may forever prevent you from becoming a US citizen. You need to fix that. Okay. And the fact that somebody else marked you as a citizen, they don't care that it was somebody else. They will say that it's you because you are the one who signed the form. Fix that before it's too late. Okay. You can still fix it. Lawsuit. Is it possible to do this? Yeah, people sue the government for many reasons, but you have to have valid for it. Mimi, my cousin said all I need to do is file with the lawyer, which we found. However, this visa is for 2 years. I don't know what that is. Oh, he's talking about the humanitarian parole. Okay, so do that. Yeah, you can help your cousin with that. Petitions taking longer than a year for mommy in Haiti. What can I do? Oh, mon Dieu. Okay, so that one takes a while. Okay, Haiti is one of those countries that nothing is moving. Port-au-Prince is basically the consulate, the embassy there, nothing is moving, is really shut down. Okay, so we have people that everything's approved, everything is waiting, yet they cannot get an appointment at that embassy. It is really impossible to get people to do that. So parole, the Haitian parole, it's the one that seems to be moving a little bit faster. So you might want to do the Haitian parole. There is a new program that was just announced, the Haitian reunification parole and also Cuban parole. It's a brand new program. It's going to work a little bit different, was just announced today. Unfortunately, you cannot apply for it on your own. What they are saying is the National Visa Center will send invitations out on their own. Yeah, we have to believe the government, they're going to do that on their own. Okay. And they're going to pick from whatever applications they have, people who already have I-130s approved. So if you are already at NVC and the I-130 is approved, they are going to pick those first. Okay. So hopefully yours gets picked. I'm hoping some of our clients get picked because honestly, there is no other way to get them out. Other people have been successful in getting here on parole. Others have not. So it's a crapshoot, frankly. Port-au-Prince is horrible right now. And I'm here in Fort Lauderdale. I have people who work for me who are from Haiti. So it's heart-wrenching. Okay. So it's hard. His intentions are to stay. I'm afraid that could affect me since I think I'm liable for him. No. Well, you're liable for the duration of the 2 years if you are sponsoring him for that. Other than that, not really. Okay. How long does it take time for a green card now after I apply? It depends on where you are. It depends on category of the application. It depends. In some parts of the country, you can get the green card in less than 3 months. For example, green card marriage in some parts of South Florida where we are, it's less than 3 to 4 months. In other parts of California, it could be over 6 years. Okay. All right. I have I-485. I married 26 years ago, and I have a son in the military. Now USCIS is asking me for proof. I didn't see everything else, so sorry, I don't see everything else. Sylvia, we can help you. Just give us a call, okay? Book a consultation. Let's help you with that. Okay, Khalid, if you apply for a family petition, how long does it get to get my wife and children to come to the United States? The 730 needs to be approved first, then it goes to the National Visa Center, and then it ends up at the consulate, okay? So it could be a couple of years. Can I seek a VAWA if my husband hid his felony background from me and I found out from leasing office? Well, is that the only thing? VAWA assumes that there is abuse, assumes that he is financially, personally, psychologically somehow abusing you. Okay, so just him hiding his felony background from you, if otherwise he is a good husband to you, how is that affecting you? Okay, Sylvia, you have a 245i. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Okay, that's good. When will EB3 unskilled become current? Oh boy, I wish I knew. Let's wait for October and see if things are moving in October. Why is October important? Because October is the fiscal year changes, okay? And that's where usually it shuffles a bit. So we only have 6 weeks to wait. So let's hope it changes a bit, okay? For F2A category, NVC approved in October 2021. How much more waiting for interview in India? First, Udesh, it really depends, okay? When you say NVC approved, I'm assuming you mean documentarily qualified in October 2021. So when you say documentarily qualified, at that point, it really depends on the particular consulate, and it could be Delhi, it could be whichever is, okay? It could be it needs to wait for the consulate to tell NVC, okay, the next 300 people you can schedule, or the next 30 people you can schedule, depends on how many people they have at the consulate available for the next month. So it really depends, okay? So when you say NVC approved, I'm assuming you mean documentarily qualified. So once it's documentarily qualified, it's a matter of the consulate scheduling them. October 2021, it's been a while, okay? You might want to reach, let's see something. You might want to reach to your congressman, okay? You might want to reach to your congressman, your senator, see if it's something can be done there, okay? I have 245i, Sylvia, and I married a long time ago. Now they want to ask me about the marriage. Of course they do. They want to see. Yeah. They want to see that. Listen, if they sent you a request for evidence, guys, all of you, if you get a request for evidence from the government, or you get a notice of intent to deny, or you get a notice of intent to revoke, or you get a denial, do not respond to that on your own. Hire a lawyer. Don't hire me, hire whoever. But hire a lawyer. Don't do it on your own. Seriously. Don't. You just think that the government is sending you a list saying, oh, here is a checklist, send me A, B, C, D. No, that's not what the government is asking. You don't know what the government is asking. Trust me when I tell you, the government is not asking what you think he's asking. Viviana, I have DACA and apply for advanced parole. Is it guaranteed to be let back in the United States? Nope. Here is the issue with the advanced parole that most people don't understand, and all of you here pay attention, okay? When you get advanced parole, you get advanced parole from USCIS. USCIS says this on that advanced parole document. Here is my permission from you to travel outside the United States, and I'm telling you that if you come back to the United States, I will give you back the same status, or I will consider the same application that you have pending, either or. I consider that you didn't abandon your application. Nowhere on that advanced parole does it say, hey, CBP and immigration at the border, please let Viviana, in this case, or let this person back in, because I'm telling you to do that. Nowhere does it say that. And that's the part people don't understand. You cannot tell one government agency to tell another government agency, hey guys, just because I say so, let the other person come in. These people don't talk to each other. What one says something, the other, like when you guys watch all those TV shows where, FBI doesn't talk to NYPD and DEA doesn't want to talk to CIA and so on. That's exactly the way it works. One agency doesn't like the other. Same thing here, okay? And literally in the statute and in immigration law, one paper that is issued by one document is not binding on the other. Means that when you get advanced parole by USCIS, CBP doesn't have to follow it. Immigration at the port of entry doesn't have to follow it. One is Department of Homeland Security, one is the Department of Justice, travel, and whatever else. No, you're not guaranteed to let back in the United States. U.S. citizen filed I-130 for spouse on December 2022, shows 2 weeks till decision. Is that right? Maybe, I doubt it, but it could be. Hopefully. Can you apply for AOS and you are in removal proceeding to get a work permit in the meantime I wait? Most of the time, no, because if you are in removal, USCIS does not have jurisdiction to issue a work permit, or USCIS does not have jurisdiction over you to give you adjustment of status. So they cannot do that. How long will it take to approve an I-824? I have seen them come in about 6 weeks, but it really depends. I also have one that's been pending for about 4 months. I don't know, but most of them in a few weeks. Can we expedite 765 based on family-based petition? Depends. Sometimes you can expedite, sometimes you cannot. Depends. Do you have a job offer? What's your reason to expedite? What do you want to prove? Why do you need to expedite the work permit? Remember that when you're filing a family-based petition, somebody says, during this period of time, I am agreeing to support this person. When you're expediting a work permit, you are saying, I need a work permit because I need to support myself. Not exactly the same thing, is it? How to expedite an I-130 spouse? Why do you want to expedite the I-130 spouse? What is the reason? Is she pregnant? Is she suffering? If you are suffering, you are the US citizen, are you suffering? If the spouse is still back in her country, what's going on there? What's the reason to expedite? You have to have a very good reason to be able to expedite a case with immigration. And by the way, most of them get denied for the reason to expedite. All right, so I've been here for a long time, so I need to go because I have other things to do. Does AOS require biometrics if there was a denied AOS prior? It depends on how long ago was the other AOS denied. Most of the time, they just reuse it. All right. So I addressed as many questions as I could today. I wish I could address them all. Feel free to send me a message, okay? And if not, I'll see you guys Tuesday, and I'll address as many as I can Tuesday. Okay? Bye.